Hello there, Dad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies, just here in my backyard, and I want to share a story. So recently I ended up having a call with somebody who'd approached me, marketing to me, wanting to help me with my business. And they sent me a little video of a 5-minute video where they went over my website and offered some thoughts, which were actually helpful. It was useful stuff. And they said, would you like to book a meeting maybe to talk about how I can help you? And I said, well, you know what? All right, you put in some time. I'm curious. So we got on the call, and she, very sweet. I like her actually, but she was taking me through the typical discovery process, which is discovery session. So what are your goals? Where are you now? What's in the gap? Here's how I can help. And we ran out of time before we could actually get to the pitch, as it were, but it was scheduled another time. And the thing that struck me was the process was so transparent. Not wrong, not bad, but it was very obvious what was happening. She would pause, look at her screen to get the next question, come back. And several times in the call I said, I'd love to hear. I'm really open to hear anything that you have to offer. And then she'd go back to the step that she was in. And understandably, there's a reason. Sometimes there's a sequence to these things. And she was very clear. She said, well, I'll I'll ask you these questions, and if it's a fit, then I'll share if I think it's a fit. And so it was all organized around fit, which was good. It had me feel comfortable. But it struck me. I remember a woman I was talking with, or no, sorry, it was a fellow, it was a dating coach, and he said, women will often go out with you in spite of yourself, in spite of how hard you're trying, in spite of whatever techniques you might imagine you need to use. It's in spite of that, not because of it, that they see it. It's fairly transparent what's going on. But they see something and they say, you know what, I just like this person. And I had a similar feeling where I was open to talking with her in spite of all the techniques she was using. Something about her I liked, her vibe. And we're often told, oh, but you need these techniques, you need this process. And we don't, We don't need yes, it's helpful to have a handle on these things. But it's, so much of it is vibe, so much emphasis gets put on these conversations, on the strategy sessions and having the technique right. But I would say 1% of attention should go there. Where does the other 99% go? Your niche, your point of view, figuring out your hubs, your business model, your packages, all this. That's where almost all of it goes. Then when you talk with people, it's just, I know there's more. I've got 2 ebooks I offer on this topic of sales. One, a conversation with Mark Silver, another with Greg Faxon. So I know it's not quite so simple. There's more to it. I'm just saying that there's a preponderance of effort that gets put on these techniques, and dating coaches saying, for men and women, by the way, saying, here's what you need to do to get the guy, to get the woman. And it's not that there isn't insight in these things, but it's people often work with us in spite of that stuff, not because of it. I just think of if this woman, if she just said, okay, well, I'm happy to share my thoughts generally, here are my packages. Here's what I could imagine doing with you based on what I know. I do have some other questions. I think part of it is when the questions feel canned, when it feels like they're asking a question that they're not actually sincerely needing the answer to, or that the only reason they could need the answer is to find some way to get leverage or to motivate or to, that kind of thing. No one wants to feel like a cog in somebody's process. Nobody wants to feel like they're being techniqued. And I'm saying this as somebody who has technique people not constantly, that's the word I'm looking for. I just did it a lot when I was younger. You know, I was captain technique. I was all about the techniques. that was all I knew. And so I'm not, there's no finger pointing here. I did it. And don't we all, at different points in our lives, do different things? You know, you figure out a winning strategy that you think is winning, and yet you may be winning, again, in spite of it, not because of it. So, there's a lot to say. But I think hopefully that lands. Amen. Learn techniques. If the techniques serve to have you comfortable in your own skin, if they help you land, if they help you genuinely connect with people more, if they help remove barriers that don't need to be there for connection, great. If they genuinely help get people's attention, filter, and lower the risk of them taking the next step, wonderful. If it's all oriented around getting to the truth of if it's a fit rather than trying to get the sale, wonderful. But it's just good to know that when we use these techniques, people see it. It's not, which is why, you know, I think there's such a market for these stealth, ninja, hidden, secret, no one will ever notice you're doing it tactics. By the way, it's not true. Most of us can either see it overtly or we feel it. We know something's up anyways. And this is the whole reason, you know, and credit to Ari Galper, who was the one I heard this from, is the whole reason for focusing on creating human conversations rather than pitching people. And whenever we feel that a conversation has changed into us pitching them, to move it back to a conversation, to say, well, look, here's what I think I could help you. Here's some packages, here's some options. I don't know for sure. I think this one's probably the best for your situation. What do you think? Where should we go from here? Giving it back to them. But just, you bounce these things back and forth with people. And here's the thing, if you can really help somebody, if somebody has a problem that you can identify and you can help them, and they're confident you can help them, people are usually pretty open, as long as they're not being pressured, because as soon as they're pressured, they're going to push back. So that's all I have to say about that. Hopefully that's useful.